Good morning. Today we are looking at packet number 2. It is due on 10/14, October 14th, right before MEA. First things first, double check, make sure your name is on your packet. Then let's look at our first page. It says the 0-degree longitude line runs through Greenwich, England. For each 15 degrees east of it, time advances 1 hour. At noon in Greenwich, what time is it in Manila, Philippines, if its longitude is 120 degrees to the east? So, if we're starting at 0 degrees, let's see if they'll let me write. Of course, nothing is ever easy. Alright, I don't know why it's not letting me write, so we're going to shift gears. And I'm going to use one of these. Alright, so let's try it this way. Alright, if we are at 0 degrees in Greenwich, it's going to be noon. What time is noon? Matt? 12 o'clock a.m. or p.m.? p.m. Okay, because noon is in the afternoon, so it is a p.m. So then we want to say, okay, we need to skip count by 15 degrees. What time is it going to be at the 15 degree mark? Jack? 1, because it advances 1 hour, p.m. It's important to have a.m.s and p.m.s listed so we have the correct time. What's going to be my next number? I'm going to skip count by another 15 and I'm going to go up to 30 degrees. Then it's going to be 1 hour later. I am going to keep on going until I skipped all the way up to 120 degrees. And I'm going to find out what time it will be in Manila, Philippines. So you're skip counting, advancing an hour every time, paying attention to if it's AM or PM. Our second page. Sarah has party, holiday, bridal shower, and wedding invitations. She has blue, yellow, and red envelopes for them. How many different invitations and envelope combinations are there? There is a way to do it a mathy way using an equation. If you don't know the equation way, you can always map it out. Okay, so she's got party invites, and she's got holiday invites, bridal shower invites, and wedding invitations. Then she has blue envelopes, yellow envelopes, and red envelopes. So match it up. Party invites can be in a blue, party invites can be in the yellow, party invites can be in the red. Holiday can be in a blue, holiday can be in the yellow envelopes, holiday can be in the red envelopes. Figure out all your combinations. Write how many combinations altogether there will be. Okay. Next is our 5-card challenge. Remember, Math 6 needs 12 points. You can use any order of operations using the cards on top. They need to equal that number 10. So whatever combinations you come up with. You can use any order of operations from PERMDAS. Parentheses, exponents, radicals, multiplying, dividing, adding, subtracting. When we have a 2, you can square things and it counts as a card. So that 2 would be squaring it. So we could say something like 3 squared, we know is 9, right? We just did that squaring. But you have to have that 2 in there in order to say that. Now we want it to equal 10. So I'm not sure how we could rearrange all these numbers, adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. But just know that if you have a 2, then you can do the squaring or a square root. Okay? But you have to have that 2 there in order to square it. So something fun if you want to play around with that. Our next page is our pattern page. Math 6 needs to complete the table through figure number 7. So we fill in what we know. There's 1 yellow, 0 blue, 0 pink, so 1 total in that first figure. 1 yellow, 2 blue, 0 pink. So we have 3. Then we have 1 yellow, 2 blue, 2 pink, so we have 5 total. Then we have 3 yellow, 2 blue, 2 pink, 7 total. Find your patterns. Okay, how many figures are going to have the same number, and then how much is it going to jump up by? There are patterns. Look at your totals. Follow your pattern. It's going to help you figure out when we're adding. You can actually go in and add. Okay, I know next figure 5, I'm going to, following my pattern, yellow, blue, pink, yellow, blue. You can figure out and fill in your numbers. You need to fill it in all the way down to 7. Then we have our perimeter and area. Perimeter, you add up all the outside. The area, we have a goofy shape. Remember, just like last packet's goofy shape, we have to cut it into shapes that we know. We know how to find a rectangle. The area of that rectangle is my length times width. So that means length times width. That'll get me this area. Then I have a triangle. To find the area of the triangle, it's 1/2 of my base times my height. So my base is right here. So it's not 6 because that's the whole way across. So you have to take off that rectangle part, figure out how much this length is, then figure out how much this length will be. Our height of our triangle goes up and down. We can see easily what the height is because our lengths are the same. So you're going to take your height times your base and then divide it by 2. We want half of it. You take that area and you add it with this area to find the figure's total area. Now I'm not telling you all the numbers because I want you to work on figuring it out. You got to put some effort into this, okay? If you still have questions, you'll come see me at a different time. Our next page is our net page. Last time, remember I said, oh, we have an easy one because it's a cube. And the cubes are all the same length. This time, our sides are different lengths. We need to pay attention to that. When I draw my net, I always like to start with my bottom. And I'm going to label my bottom. So my short is 3 centimeters, my long is 4 centimeters. So I'm going to label all 4 sides. Then I know, like with my cube, I know that it kind of made that T shape, right? So this rectangular prism is going to make a T shape, but they're not the same lengths. I need to label each side's length. So I've got my bottom. Now I'm going to do my going up side. So I know this side is a 3, so this side must be 3. And I have its opposite side. Then I need to figure out what's my length here. I can see here that length going up, that height is 5. Well, if this goes up 5, then the other side of my box has to go up 5. So they match. Now I have my top side. If I have a 4 here, I'm going to have a 4 here. If this side is a 5, this side has to match it because my box folds up evenly. So if this is a 5, this side has to be a 5. If this is a 5, then this side has to be a 5. Now I'm going to do the opposite side. And it's going to be the same side as this. So I've got my 4s, and then my 5s match up with that 5, right? So 5 here and a 5 here, because the 5 matches up with the 5. Now this one, remember, was my bottom. So this one is my top. So my bottom had 4 and 4, and then it had 3 and 3. So when I fold it over, it's going to match up exactly. So it's super important that we label our sides correctly. I like to label them one side at a time as I draw it to make sure that I'm labeling them the same. 5 matches up with the 5. So really think through as you're putting your measurements for each side. Our last step is finding that surface area. To find the surface area, remember we find the area of each side and then add them together. I like to put my areas right in the rectangles. So my area of this side is 3 times 4. Then I have another 3 times 4. Here I have a 5 times 4 and a 5 times 4. I have a 3 times 5 and a 3 times 5. So I need to add up all my areas to get to that surface area. So I worked out a lot for this net because we are going to have these pages in every single packet. I am not going to work it out this way for you every time. You're going to have to figure out what your net looks like, what your measurements are, and where they go. But I want us to get into the habit of how to label it correctly. I'm doing this because I know this is a struggle for students a lot of times. So I'm working us through it so we don't struggle in the future. Okay. If you didn't get it all filled in, watch my video later. You can pause it and fill it in then. Our next page, it's the volume page. Remember with our cube, our volume for the cube was length times width times height. So length times width times height. So for our calculation, we're going to put in those numbers. Length times width times height. Then you're going to actually do that math. And you're going to put the answer right here for the volume. And we're going to label it. It is centimeters. We multiplied 3 centimeters together, so it's centimeters cubed is our measurement. You have to find what that measurement is. Then it says, what is the area of the largest face of the figure? Well, here's the lucky part. This rectangular prism is the same as this rectangular prism. You've already figured out areas of all the sides. Figure out which one was the biggest area. Which side length had the big, or side had the biggest area. You're going to put that answer down here. So the biggest area from, we already figured it out on the page before. So write the biggest area here. That answer, because it's a side times a side, centimeter times centimeter, our measurement will be centimeters squared. And our last page. Order the months of the year from most student birthdays to the least student birthdays. So I should see a list of all 12 months, starting with the birthdays that have the most, starting with the months that have the birthdays with that have the most birthdays, ending with what month has the least birthdays. There will be some that have the same amount. So I just put September plus December. When they're the same amount, just write them both. Okay. So put them in order. Michael.
Could you put them like, so like if you want to, could you put them like just next to each other?
Yes. Yep. All right, that is our packet number 2. It is due October 14th. I highly recommend you turn them in early so we can catch any mistakes that we make and get those fixed up. If you continue to have questions, come see me personally or watch the video again. Okay? I hope you're well. Hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day.